Hey everybody, it's Everett with Ohio for Freedom. It is January 18th, 2021, and I just wanted to give you a quick little update on what's going on with this channel, and I'm just going to briefly mention, I think, about two news items. I just wanted to say I so much appreciate everybody that has supported and, been kind to this channel and sent us information and continues to do so, and everybody that has subscribed. And I want to tell you about something that happened over the weekend. I had planned to do a Facebook Live on Sunday the 6th, so that would have been yesterday the 17th. I put some time into this. I put what I think was a pretty good little patriotic show together, very family-friendly, uplifting. I'm talking music-wise now, and included a couple of gospel songs and some very well-known patriotic songs and a couple songs of mine as well. Sent out an email about that, and that was right after I had posted a video that talked about just factual things. I did mention John Sullivan, young man that was arrested for going into the Capitol building. I mean, it's out there. There's nothing controversial about that. And I talked about how the president declassified some documents. Well, Facebook, for some reason, saw fit to squash that within about 2 hours because it violated community standards. I didn't violate any community standard. There was nothing unfactual. There was nothing advocating any violence. I did advocate that people pray. And they shut us down for 24 hours. So there went the Facebook Live and a lot of things. So I just wanted to say, we're not going to quit. We're not going to go away. I personally do not have an overinflated opinion of, the effectiveness of this. And I often, if you've listened to me, how often do I say this little channel? But this little channel isn't that small. The previous video, we had 272,000 views. Our last 28-day stats is a 1,028,000 or 1,020,something views. And I know how to read the analytics. I know that not every view is all the way through or anything. But if you just put those two numbers together, it's not a completely insignificant number. And as I go back through and look at especially the Facebook analytics, man, it's so predictable. If you get some real traction with the subject, you can almost expect this next little squash down that comes from the Zuckerberg bot. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to try to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. I'm going to continue to post on Facebook. I'm going to be real careful with what I say. I can tell you that we have some interviews coming up with some people that if you care about freedom, you're going to want to hear what they have to say, and kind of devising a strategy where we maybe kind of talk about it a little bit, but if you want the real story, you'll have to follow us onto another platform. But I'm just going back, right after the election, a lot of people were saying, I'm leaving Facebook and I'm going to Parler, period. And I was encouraging folks, well, do that in stages, because if you do it all at once, people that you're connected to, you're going to leave them behind, and you don't want to do that. And well, in retrospect, I think that was pretty good advice, because Parler doesn't exist right now. They will be coming back. And so anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to post. There will probably be some content on other platforms that is not on the FB platform. And the Brighteon, BitChute, YouTube, Rumble, all of the above. Looking into, I think it's Telegram or Telegraph, or it's hard to keep up with. But I feel like if a little voice like this if it is being fought against so hard, then even these little voices must be important. I realize there's people that they post a video on YouTube and bam, there's 300,000 views, but that's not my problem. I just want to continue to do what I feel like God's put in my heart to do. So I hope I'm not rambling, y'all, but I would really like to ask you if this program has ever been of help to you, or you just want to stay in touch. Please go to ohioforfreedom.com and subscribe. Don't just send an email, because that's been a little bit of an issue there too. But on the video blog, if you subscribe, then you'll get an email back that you got to click that says, yes, we really mean this, and then you're in. And, just check me out. Check us out. If I email you and you don't like what you can unsubscribe anytime. But I don't know how choppy the waters are going to get in the future. And I feel, and right now, Jay Sekulo's program is playing, and he's talking about CNN wanting to shut down people on YouTube and shut down people on every other social media platform that don't agree with them. And that's where their mindset's at. So it's really important, I feel, that patriots and freedom-minding people, especially the Christian community, stay connected. So once again, if you can please go to the website and subscribe on the video blog, that gets you in. If you'd like to help us out with the contribution, that's appreciated too. And yes, I still have the 3 files that I'm sending out. America, I Have Faith in You, Sweet Sound of Freedom, and Contact Tracing Man, as a way to say thank you. There are 2 pieces of news I just wanted to mention. And that is, it was Friday that Secretary Ratliff issued a letter, and you can follow up with this on the Epoch Times. I don't have time to put the clip in the video, but Secretary Ratliff of Director of National Intelligence put out a statement that there was interference from China in our elections, and that he disagreed with some of the people on his team, and then he cites some historical precedents for disagreeing with others. And so it's just, he's notified the president that in his opinion there was China interference. And on a previous video I covered that there is a paragraph in that 2018 executive order that lets any appropriate official bring information to the president at any time. So I want to just mention that. Make of that what you will. I also, because I do have to put an edit on this, I'm going to just kind of glimpse a little piece of video of President Trump, and I'm just going to show you a few seconds of it because I think it's an example of stuff you do not want to believe. This is not a real video. It looks CGI to me. And the reason that I'm saying that is, folks, who knows what's going to come down the pike in the next several or few days. So there's that. And then if you have a Twitter account, if you go and search u.s.marshals, you will find out that just a few hours ago, it's 12:30 on the 16th, that the U.S. Marshals deputized 2,000 National Guard troops. I don't know what that's about. The hip-hop patriot from Here We Go, somebody sent me his post. He brought it to my attention. I went to Twitter, and sure enough, that happened. All I can say is, if you look at the Twitter page for the U.S. Marshals, it's all about who they arrested. So U.S. Marshals are all about arresting people. Who are they getting ready to arrest? I have no idea. I have no idea. But it looks like, because I guess if you're in the National Guard, you just can't walk up and arrest somebody. But if you're deputized as a U.S. Marshal, U.S. Marshals can arrest people. So maybe they want to be in a position to, that if they need to arrest lots of people, they can. I do not believe that there's going to be Trump supporters causing any trouble at the Capitol, and any Trump supporter should absolutely stay away from any protest over the next few days. Don't walk into a trap. The president has called for and asked anybody, he has said, anybody that's a supporter of his supports law and order, and they're peaceful. So those were the 2 pieces of news that I wanted to mention, and I'm just gonna close. I'm gonna mention a piece of scripture. So if you're one of those people that get scared when I mention scripture, you can leave the room here. But I just wanted to talk about this real quick. In Acts chapter 27, Paul was having to go before Caesar, and that's because he appealed, and that was what God wanted. But in the 27th chapter, in the 10th verse, he says something. He says, "Sirs, I perceive this voyage will be with hurt and much damage, not only of the lading and ship, but also of our lives." Damage of the ship and loss of lives. See, the people that were in charge with the responsibility to get Paul all the way to Rome, winter was coming up, and they didn't want to get stuck because during the winter you can't sail as well, and they wanted to kind of get a move on. They wanted to get going, and Paul was cautioning them, don't go, for I perceive that it's going to be with damage not only to the ship but also of lives. Let me just say this, Paul's perceiver was pretty accurate, okay? Paul wrote more of the New Testament than anybody else. I think he was in Lystra, wasn't it, when he said he was preaching in Lystra, and he perceived that there was somebody there that had faith to be healed, and he said, stand upright on your feet. The guy stood up, and he was healed. I could be wrong about Lystra, but I'm right about the rest of that. So Paul's perceiver, y'all, was pretty good, and he had perceived and this is important for what I'm going to say, he had perceived that if you go ahead with this, it's going to cost the ship and it's going to cost lives. Well, the next day, a soft wind began to blow, and the powers that shouldn't be on that little, they said, no, we don't believe Paul. We believe it's going to be fine. So it lured them onto this journey, and then I think it's called I call it Eurocylon or Eurocylon. I don't know, but anyway, it was the mother of all storms, and it wouldn't go away and wouldn't go away and wouldn't go away, and then they were very much in despair. And they were just completely in despair. But I want to read you this 21st verse. But after long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them and said, Sirs, you should have hearkened to me and not loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. Now listen to this. Because folks, they were scared. I mean, it was lights out. It was curtains. And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am, who I serve, saying, Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar. And lo, God has given thee all them that sail with thee. Now listen to this. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer. For, excuse me, for I believe God that it shall be even as it was told me. Two things I want you to notice. When he had said, I perceive that you go ahead with this, it's going to cost you the ship and it's going to cost you lives, he was right about that. So something happened between verse 10 and verse 21, because when he said in verse 21 that there were, fear not, the angel stood by me and there's going to be no loss of life. Why wasn't there going to be loss of life now? Because Paul had interceded. He had interceded. Paul wasn't going to intercede just for himself. He was interceding for everybody on that ship. You see what I'm saying? And then I just want to leave this little point with you. Pardon me. He said, fear not. And where was he? Wherefore, sirs, because this is what I want to say to you, and this is what I want to say to me. Wherefore, sirs, and that includes ladies as well, but I don't think there was any ladies on board. Wherefore, be of good cheer. I challenge you to find me a time that Jesus ever encountered a desperate situation where that wasn't basically his attitude. Be of good cheer. Why are you so fearful? That's the kind of thing that Jesus would say. And Paul said, wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe God. Whew! Paul, the angel had stood by him and had given him a message, but it was still up to Paul to believe it. And Paul says, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe God. I have said all along, I believe things are going to turn out way differently than the mainstream media is saying they are. I won't go into detail about that, but I believe they're going to turn out very, very differently. And it was still incumbent upon Paul. Yes, he had prayed. Yes, an angel appeared, but he still needed to believe. And he declared that belief. He declared and he believed what God said. I hope that's an encouragement to you. Please like, share, subscribe, all of the above. Please go to the website and subscribe so we can stay in touch. And, just try me out. If I send you an email and like this guy, if it goes sour, just unsubscribe at any time, okay? Unsubscribe at any time. But I think it's important that these little voices stay in touch with each other. I really appreciate so very much everybody's kind words and all of that, and everybody that sends information. That's really very much appreciated. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. God's got this. So until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio. And God bless the United States of America. I hear the